I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
And tonight we have a couple of guests with us. One is a regular guest of ours. His name is Pat McCabe, who's an activist. And the other is a candidate for the Massachusetts Governor's Council in District 2, which includes parts of Boston. And we have with us who is the candidate, which is Richard Mitchell. Welcome, Rich.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Good to have you here.
All right.
So we often talk about the council and how it affects men and fathers. So why don't you give us an update on your campaign for the Governor's Council?
Okay, so like you said, I'm Rich Mitchell. I'm running for Governor's Council in District 2 as an independent. So District 2 goes from Hopkinton to Hyde Park down to Seekonk and Rehoboth. So it's a very large district. It's about 400,000 voters. The wards in the areas in Boston that are part of the district is Ward 18, precincts 7 through 20, 22, 23, Ward 19, precincts 10 through 13, and Ward 20.
And so, what sections of Boston is that?
It's Hyde Park.
Yes? Is it West Roxbury? West Roxbury, okay.
So
why don't you tell us, Rich, a little bit about why you're running for the Governor's Council?
So I'm running for the Governor's Council because the judicial system in the state of Massachusetts is completely dysfunctional. There's a few different reasons for that, one of which are often well-meaning but poorly written laws that are put in place by the legislators that have unintentional consequences. The district attorney's offices that really don't use common sense when they're prosecuting cases, and finally judges that often perform their duties by using their own personal philosophies, don't follow the law, and violate due process and the rights of the people that go before them. So,
and how does the Governor's Council address any of these issues?
Well, the Governor's Council is the body. It's the only check and balance that we have in Massachusetts for bad judges. So the governor can appoint anyone he wants to the Governor's Council, and to anyone he wants to be a judge. And
you're running for the Governor's Council,
right? Yeah, is the place they have to approve it. So there are 8 members that are 8 districts across the Commonwealth. And those 8 members will vote on every judge.
So basically, a judge is nominated, and then the Governor's Council kind of does the interview process for the nominee. Is that what it is?
Right. Well, the governor creates, by executive order, they've created a judicial nominating committee that are made up of lawyers. 100% of the people are lawyers throughout the state. I think there's 21 for this governor. Each governor can do it himself. It was started by Mike Dukakis. Now, when Mike Dukakis first created the Judicial Nominating Committee, he wanted to create a more professional body to pick the judges, and so he mandated that at least 50% of the people on the Judicial Nominating Committee have to be non-lawyers. Okay, because the lawyers are the ones that profit and work in the court systems, and we really need other people to oversee that and not have the lawyers. So unfortunately now, all of the people on the Judicial Nominating Commission are lawyers. We don't have any regular folks.
No, back then, the legislature also had people that weren't lawyers, and now they're all lawyers. And isn't it just fair to say that the lawyers are taking over the government?
The lawyers have taken over the government. I don't think there's any way to put it.
But getting back to the Governor's Council, what would you do if you were on the Governor's Council to address this issue? What would you bring to the table?
Well, the thing that we need to do, which only like 2 members of the current Governor's Council do, is to really look into the backgrounds of each person that is nominated by the governor to make sure that they are fit, and they have proven they're fit by their past practices to be a governor, to be a judge. Judges are appointed for a life term. They have judicial immunity, so they can do anything they want on the bench, and they cannot get in trouble for it. So they can not follow the law. They can violate due process. They can do anything and not get in trouble. When you couple that with a lifetime tenure, then there could be a lot of problems, and there are a lot of problems. So we need to look at every single one, make sure they're going to respect the Constitution, respect due process, respect individual rights, and, to safeguard.
I've been to council meetings. They range from an hour to 4 and 5 hours. What would you? I mean, I don't know. Is that the only time that you have to address the nominees? What would you be doing, asking the nominees in order to find out this information?
Well, there's a couple of things. So first, you get access as a governor's council to all of the information that's already assembled by the Judicial Nominating Committee, right? So that's a big thing. We should make that public. Okay, so one of the things that happens is that a small body of people can only do so much and know so much. And when you have, different people come in every week or every 2 weeks, it's really virtually impossible to completely look at their background. So if you open up the process, you make it more transparent, you put all of the information that's already known about the person on a website someplace, then you can have people that have been represented by them, been misrepresented by them, have either had a great experience or a very bad experience. And those people can come forward. We publicize it, much more than it is now, because guess what? It's not publicized.
Publicize it all.
Okay, so I have been running since April, right? So I had to get 1,000 signatures and certified signatures, and we have to do over that. So I got about 1,400 certified signatures. That meant I talked about 4,000 people just getting signatures, and then since then I've talked to thousands more. Well, maybe 5% of the people know what the Governor's Council does, right? And so this is a very tough position to run for 2 reasons. One is it's a huge district, it's bigger than a congressional district, and on top of that, no one knows what it is. So at least if you're running for Congress, everybody knows what a congressman does. So you don't have to actually explain that to them.
But luckily this last year they've made the news a couple of times. They had the gentleman who was taking money from disgraced candidates, which made the Governor's Council fairly popular.
Or giving money to disgraced candidates.
Right, giving money to disgraced candidates. What it sounds like to me is you're trying to make more openness in the process. I know that what you're running for isn't a big ticket office, but if you run for the higher offices, you have to do a lot of disclosure. I mean, we hear about the presidents, we hear about the governors having to disclose information. Are you saying that you think people that want to be judges should be open to that same type of disclosure?
Yes, public disclosure, yes, they should. Okay. Right? I think it's even more important for judges to be open, right? Because at least the governor, if he's going to throw you in jail or if he's going to have control of your life, I mean, he'd have to go through a lot of steps to do that. But if you are unfortunate enough to walk into a courtroom and, it could be just, your next door neighbor accusing you of something or some weird thing. And you get in there, that person sitting on the bench has complete control of you while you're in there. And it's just, it can be a scary experience.
Yeah, and I think most people at some point in their life will be affected by the decisions that judges make in the courts, either directly when they're in the court, as you say, for a neighborhood complaint, or on a broader issue from some of the decisions made by the Supreme Judicial Court. And you know that the Chief Justice is retiring. If you have any thoughts on the importance of the council in regards to the state Supreme Judicial Court, maybe you'd like to speak on that a little bit.
Well, so the Supreme Judicial Court is different from the other courts. So it's more important. It's on a higher playing field. They have less cases, so everything they do is scrutinized more. But one of the problems with the Supreme Judicial Court is that they create law. So we have a House of Representatives, we have a state Senate, and those folks pass laws. But they have to agree with each other if they want to change something. So as soon as we go to the Supreme Judicial Court, those people can trump anything that the legislature does with the approval of the governor. If they don't like it, they can just cross it off, change it, and we live in a new world, right? So it's actually crazy, the amount of power that they have. And so, because of that, we really have to scrutinize every person that goes on there.
Right.
Now, are there any particular issues that you've had to deal with in your life with the court that has brought you to this point of wanting to be on the Governor's Council? We've actually had a number of people that we know that are running for the Governor's Council, and it all has to do with the way the family court is treating people. Have you had similar experiences?
Yes, I have. So I have, before this year, before running for governor, I had never thought about running for office. I was a small business person. I ran a small business for 18 years. Actually, I ran it until I was going through a very complicated divorce, contentious divorce. And over at, actually the last 4 years, I've been in court over 60 times between district court and probate family court. And that itself is a testimony to the fact that there's a problem.
So before this started with the family court, your history with the courts was rather limited, or if not existent?
Right, yeah.
So once you got involved with the family court, you became a regular customer?
That's what happens, right?
Okay.
So the family court is supposed to be run in the best interests of the children. In reality, it's run in the best interests of the lawyers. And it is set up so that the lawyers make as much money as possible. The legislative body, which is mostly lawyers also, has created rules that make the divorce process as contentious as possible. So you have this, a divorce is a horrible thing, and especially when there are children around, it always is. And you have this very emotional, troubling part of people's lives, and then the legislators create incentives for conflict, which is just like, lighting an inferno. Okay. And the fact that they do that is unconscionable. And it is further complicated by the judges, who are also lawyers, who are appointed to the bench. In the family court, they're mostly divorce lawyers, so they know all of the people that come in, and they keep the rules just as they are to further the interests of the lawyers. I mean, everybody shows up at 9 o'clock, but you can only do people one at a time, and the lawyers make money just sitting there.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering about is our judiciary is much more than the family court, but it seems there's a lot of people that are very upset for quite legitimate reasons for the family court. This is what's brought you in. This is what has brought other candidates. I'm just wondering, what do you feel about the other courts? Do you have any issues with any other courts than the family courts, or is the family court basically giving a black eye to the whole court system?
No, I think it's the worst part of the court system, but I think there's plenty of problems to go around. So if we look at district court and family court, those are the two busiest court systems, right? So most problems that go on, obviously all the family issues, but then all the petty crimes, and most crime that happens is small things, and a lot of it is young kids doing stupid things, that non-violent crime, so shoplifting and traffic issues and minor drug things. And there's lots of those issues that go on in all of the district courts around the state. In those cases, especially, the judges are loose and fast with the law. They actually rule their courtrooms with an iron hand often, and will throw people in contempt for the smallest reason. They don't follow the law. They don't follow due process. The district attorney's offices routinely will threaten people with large sentences and then try and get them to plea bargain.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.